the internet. Can you hear me all right? Is this mic placement all right? A little bit. I'm trying to be able to see the screen but still do stuff. All right.
How about this one? Is this one good?
That sounds good.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
It'll take me a little bit to get in the Twitch chat, but I will be joining. I had to start this computer up, so it's giving me that please wait, Windows 7 is getting ready message. So it apparently needed to update, and it's configuring. So it might
Isn't
be a
that
while.
always updating though?
I don't know.
Because every time I open that computer, it's always updating.
I don't know, man. But hopefully I'll get into the Twitch chat soon. But we've been talking about net neutrality and the importance of the internet and sort of what is it all about and where is it going? And I'm curious, Yoko, do you have anything you want to join in on this conversation about, based on what we've been saying? Or speak your own truth and opinion about this?
Well, a lot of what you guys have been saying are basically my same points of view. The one thing I would actually like to add that what they're doing now with this whole net neutrality, trying to fix my diction. So
my diction always needs fixing.
Okay, face palm for me because I actually prepared that joke. Well, the thing about this is that it reminds me a lot about the SOPA agreement, which happened like 2 years ago.
Sopapilla. Here we go again.
And
speakers at 100%. Just keep going.
Well, I don't want to interrupt you, man. So
no, I'm just trying to cover up my own failures.
So yeah, it reminds me a lot of the whole SOPA thing that, and especially with this and the new sloppy YouTube integration.
Yeah.
The thing is that it just seems like it's going really on attack of small businesses, all this stuff. And like people, I don't want to signal us, but we are part of that. And other people who are trying to start something can't really do anything now because everything that something is passed by either Congress or anything, or even like big free companies like YouTube or stuff like that are attacking them before they even start. And I mean, how can one do something if there's already way too much hurdles that they can't even cross?
Well, it's kind of like what I was going back to what I said before, where it's like playing a game, and I'm going to compare it to Magic. I wish Gnome was here. If you play Magic, there's a strategy called mill, where pretty much you use your cards to make it where you just make the other character run out of deck to play. You make them discard their cards, you counter their cards so they don't get to play anything. The entire strategy is based around not letting the other person play, so you win. And that's what these companies are doing, that you can't have, there's not going to be any competition. People will be forced to use your service for what you're trying to provide if no one else can do it. And so, I mean, I can't blame them, and if we're in a society where your corporation, we've been ruling things, this corporation as a person, that means it can do whatever it needs to survive and be the best and make itself, successful. And when you're doing it that way, you take away, I feel, the rights of a lot of other citizens. Not necessarily take away, but you infringe and oppress them. You look at something where in the United States, we're all supposed to be able to have the ability to pursue happiness and be successful and be healthy. But when we have corporations like this, you're essentially limiting the options, which in my view is taking away that ability. It's like saying if there's 5 cake shops, and one cake shop buys all the other cake shops, and the other cake shops are still run by the same people, but the cake shop that owns them all says you can only display red velvet cake. You can make other cakes. There will still be other cakes, but your window can only have red velvet cake, and you can only advertise red velvet cake. Then less people are going to try other kinds of cake.
Just because they don't know.
Just because they don't know about it. They don't know it exists. It might not be available. And in turn, that means that the people who want to make these other cakes will make less of those cakes because it's more expensive to do so because nobody's buying them. And that's kind of what this market is like. It's saying you can only see 2 or 3 companies. You can only have these options. And in doing so, they infringe upon your ability to choose. And by taking that away, they maximize their own profits, which as a business, that's a solid plan. Good guys. I mean, that's smart business plan, but it's not good for the economy. It's not good for the people of the United States. And when it comes to something like this net neutrality, that's one more step that these corporations are trying to take and they're feigning that it's for a different purpose. When we see this, we want to be able to control how we use our bandwidth. That is a fine argument. You own a company, it's your bandwidth, you can decide how to use it. That is an all right argument. I can't really disagree with that on that principle, but it's the implications of the law. It's them saying how can we get a law in place that at face value is understandable, but the real implications behind it are what will allow us to profit, which is by making deals with other corporations. And, not necessarily because we even care. Like when Gnome was saying about the Hulu thing, we're going to make it easier for you to use Hulu and harder to use Netflix. So people who use our service will do that because we own Hulu, which means we'll make more money. That's limiting your ability to choose. That's infringing upon people's right to choose. And if you own Comcast, what is there? There's Comcast and CenturyLink.
Well, here they're the most profitable.
Talking about in the United States, there really aren't that many other options. So that's pretty much saying that I'm pretty sure more people use Comcast than Xfinity, but let's say it's half and half. So. That means that half of the people of the United States are being pretty much penalized for trying to use Netflix if they did something like that. That's a company saying you're forced to use our service because there aren't other options because we've bought them all. We bought all the other options, so we're the one you get to choose, and that means we get to decide for you what you have available. And to me, that is an infringement upon American rights because we have the right to choose. We have the right to find other things. And this is another thing that, when it comes to things like medical care, it's very similar. All these corporations and hospitals and, protections against lawsuits means that our medical care has to be so expensive. And that pretty much means, okay, you can go to the hospital and we'll charge you $20,000 for this treatment that costs $3,000 and, or $200 in Europe. But that's because we're your only option. You can either stay at home with your broken leg or you can go to the hospital. You don't really have a choice there. To me, that should be illegal.
Well,
because even if you're not directly taking their rights from them, you're giving them the option. But their options are to live in pain or not have access to something or to have access to it. It's not the choice of different options. There's two. It's black and white. And that to me is not capitalist. That's just selfish, and it's not American, And I guess that sounds sort of dumb in that sort of patriotic sense, but as somebody who actually likes the United States, and what it stands for, even if I don't really consider myself, sort of your standard patriot, as somebody who really believes in what the United States should be, in America, believes what the United States should be and what it was initially founded upon, I don't think that these hold up to those values.
No, the big thing here is I do, so much as you, I do love the capitalist ideal. Like, I think it's better than any other form of government.
Well, capitalism isn't even a government form. It's like a marketing.
that I still have some troubles actually getting to the top. But thing is, I do like capitalism. The thing is, when it actually starts going into laws, getting into Congress, and actually dictating how people are gonna live, that's a whole different thing. It's not, again, America's supposed to be a land of the free, a land of freedom and all that. But
if you're taking away people's ability to choose, are you really allowing them to be free?
Exactly.
Yeah. It's not, you're not saying, no, you have to use our service, but you are saying there aren't any other services. That's the same thing. You know, you can either not have it or you can have it.
Yeah, a good use of capitalism in this case would be, okay, you can advertise more. Let's say Comcast. Okay, Comcast can maybe program that your homepage will be Hulu, let's say. Okay, but that does not mean that it will run faster than Netflix. At that point, that's a whole different thing. And especially if it becomes a law, something that it can be done and will restrict any decision that you make. That in itself is just where the problem actually lies.
I don't know. To me, it's dumbfounding that these things get as far as they do and that these people have enough power to push them so heavily and that these laws are getting passed, you know, or make it to the Supreme Court. You know, people are being convinced that this is a good thing, and I don't understand how the people that we have that we vote I'm using air quotations that we vote to be in these positions of power are representing us this poorly. And I'm not a huge political activist. I'm one of those people that I kind of think that sudden change is necessary and that our current system is not set up in a way that allows us to really have a lot of choice or effect on our government. I mean, if we yell loud enough, sometimes they'll listen, but it doesn't really feel like most of the time our influence on the government is very heavy. And I do think that we need to find a way to influence this stuff more strongly.
What does make me angry with these bills, with these amendments or stuff like that, is that these things are getting passed without the Congress or the majority actually reading these. And
no, I'm sure they read them. I just feel like this should be something that people vote on, not the Supreme Court. You know, shouldn't that be something that has to go by us, the people who actually use the content, not
the way they can get away with it.
A few people in a room, you know?
The way they can get away with it is that apparently that's why we have representatives to make the decisions for us, because apparently those representatives represent what we think. That's why we chose them. And that's the way they can get away with it.
Yeah.
But, like SOPA, the big thing with SOPA was that the majority actually had not read every single clause that bill had. And it wasn't until all the people actually started...
The internet's like, no!
Yeah,
Dear God, no!
It was one of the biggest rage against Congress in that moment that actually got it to everybody to reconsider that bill. And hey, do we have SOPA right now?
Yeah.
We don't.
And that's where I think the importance of the internet really comes from, is that in my eyes, it's really giving most, and that's when I talked about the internet earlier and like sort of my first few thoughts when I came into this conversation, I said that the internet is important because it's a forum that seems to, or that equalizes power. You know, if you have access to the internet as an individual, I'm not talking about a corporation, but as an individual on the internet, you have as much power as everybody else as an individual on the internet. You know, if you are Random Joe 87 or Random Joe 86 and you post something on Twitter or on any other site, it's going to get the same amount of traffic dependent on what you do on the internet. You know, if you have friends outside and you say, hey, come join it, you know, and they're following you on Twitter and you post funny stuff and they link it out to stuff, that's your actions. It's your power, you know. But when you start on the internet, you have the same amount of power as everybody else. And the ability to share and communicate and join in public discussion about these things is what I think is so great about the internet, because we can have something like this SOPA Act or this ruling for ending net neutrality, and the internet is the place where even if we don't get to vote on this is something that's just going to Supreme Court, we don't get a vote, we as the people can at least, you know, communicate our thoughts on it. And hopefully our representatives pay attention to that. You know, we don't really send letters anymore. You don't send a letter to your representative saying, "Dear Representative so-and-so, I am encouraging you not to vote on Bill 86.8, you know.
Especially if by the time they actually get it.
You'd have to write it and send it and pay for it, and you don't think anybody's going to read it, you know. So the internet is a place where we can all just group, and I think it's a lot more powerful if we have a post that's like, that just starts as a neutral post, and then there's, you know, 7 million likes on it, you know, or it gets shared 8 million times, and the comments are all about how terrible it is, you know, for a majority, if 90% of the people on it dislike it. And it gets sent, if that gets sent to your representative's page, then it's a mass of people showing up suddenly, you know, and if that keeps getting repeated, you know, these representatives should see that. And I feel like the fact that the internet is so viewable and accessible to everyone is what makes it powerful. Mm-hmm. And that's why it's so important as a political tool. And the fact that it is so powerful as a political tool is why these corporations and parts of the government are trying to limit and control it, because those are the parties that want that to go away, because they want to control what you have access to, and they want to control the opinions you can have. And that's why it has to stay free, and that's why it has to stay neutral on a moral level and on a provisionary level. So I don't. Yeah, it's my rant. Aggro's done.
But I will say, I am curious to see what to actually read what people actually think about this. Please let us know in the chat. Call us in at 1-855-303-GEEK or 1-855-303-4335. Call us. Let us know what you actually think about this.
Mm-hmm. If you're on Spreaker, if you're on Tunein, if you're on Twitch, if you are on any of those, please share it to somewhere else. You know, share those links. I'll post them up during this break. Have people listen in. I think this discussion is really cool, and I'd love to hear other people's thoughts on it. You can, of course, call in at 1-855-303-GEEK. That's 1-855-303-4335. This segment is coming to an end, though. We will be right back. During the break, I will post stuff. So I am Aggro.
And I'm Yoko.
And we will be right back. Thank you for joining us on the Mouthwash. See you in a bit.
Yes, yes, yes.
KGSS.
This is a journey into sound. This is a journey into sound.
This is a journey into sound. A journey which along the way will bring to you new color, new dimension, new values.
And new experience.
Stereophonic sound. So our journey takes us into the field of music.
Right now, you're hungry. I can see it all over your face. There's only one place to go fix the legendary hunger you're feeling, and it's Legends of Aurora Sports Grill. The smell of crunchy calzones, hand-tossed crispy pizza, buttery garlic bread paired with signature spaghetti sauce and meatballs, and it's all better than Nana used to make. With everyday specials, Legends of Aurora Sports Grill can cure that legendary hunger. Conveniently located on East Isle, just off of 225 in Aurora. Come down for Ladies' Night every Thursday or karaoke on Saturday night. Legend of Aurora Sports Grill. Legendary. In a world of internet radio, there is one station that stands out above the rest.
May the force be with you.
Yes, yes, yes. KGSS. You are listening to Geekstreetsociety.com.
Can the Dolphin just be a new Batman villain?
I'll stop you, Batman.
Hey, Green Arrow, you gonna do some Green Arrow stuff? You know what? You think you're better than me? With your hair and your pants.
Smacky the sidekick. I can shoot it right off your head.
And this is the mouthwash. The mouth.
That's what
mouthwash.
I would have done it, but, you, Batman, look at you.
And this is the mouthwash.
Some next level shit. Just one Spreaker the geek.
Mouthwash. Mouthwash.
That's what I'm telling you. I was grabbing this elephant by the ankles and just, oh, hi. We're back.
I wanted to know what happened next.
Yeah, I'm Yoko.
Yeah.
And this is Aggro over there.
Yeah. Sorry, I was looking at the Facebook posts and everything. I'm keeping up with the online stuff, okay? So let me move my mic a little bit. Is that better? Sound beautiful? A little more this way.
So yeah, we were talking about the whole this non-neutrality agreement and our opinions on it, and we're still curious on what more people think about it.
We'd definitely like to hear you. I'll be posting this number in the chat. Please call in at 1-855-303-4335. That's 1-855-303-GEEK. Come check us out. That's on the phone line. You can let us know what your opinions on this are. If you're a person who thinks that I'm wrong and that corporations should have as much power as they can acquire, then I would love to hear your intelligent argument for why that is true.
Or non-intelligent.
Yeah, I'll still hear it. We'll still listen. Yeah. So
it could be fun.
Please show up. If you just want to play devil's advocate with me, that'd be fun too. Also, please make sure to download the apps Twitch, Spreaker, and Tunein so you can catch us anytime, anywhere, on the go. And you can also watch us on YouTube by searching Geek Street Society. There you can find archives of all the shows, and you might not necessarily be able to join in because these are recorded live. So if you're not there, but you can still leave a comment on the page, and if we see it, we'll probably comment and talk back to you. And please like, subscribe, and share. So please do that on all our sites. We'll definitely appreciate it if you're a fan, and we hope we can get sort of all our cool little talk sessions out there and have more people share in that discussion because, like I said, the internet is a great forum, and we'd like to hear your guys' opinions and learn something from it. So
it's a completely free forum.
Mm-hmm. Geek Street is free, just for you. So, and yeah. So I feel like we've been kind of beating this topic for a while, talking about
it is
political
stuff.
Yeah,
I think
if you really want to rehear some of the things we were talking about, I think I got through everything I want to say about it. If you want to rehear it, you can join in, or you can catch it in the download version. There will be the archive on Twitch. It will also be on YouTube. There's a link underneath the Twitch feed that will take you to our YouTube channel where you can watch the archived version and sort of hear me rant more. Do you have any last thoughts on it, Yoko?
Yeah. Actually, just the only thing I would like to say is that I would really like to relate this to the SOPA movement because that was a really effective way to actually treat it. And just one of the big things about what helped a lot against the SOPA movement was the the fact that we should get a hold of who's our representatives on each city, on each section, and
each state, you know,
and either call them, leave emails, leave everything that that you can to them, and just let them know really that this is not a good decision, or if it is, just let them know.
By the way, Wingman, we can see you dancing back there. There, your reflection is caught on the. Yeah, so that'll show up. He's caressing his man titties, but.
And yeah, just please do that, people, because it did work once before. It might work again.
I definitely agree. I think you should put your opinion out there and find, places to share that and share what you think and forward this. Definitely communicate with your representative. I think that does make an impact. Those people, I'm going to give you a thumbs up if you're a political activist. I might not necessarily agree with your viewpoint, but if you're being a political activist, at least you're trying to make a change and participate in the discourse in American government. And that takes moxie, kid.
Yeah, thanks Obamacare.
Yeah. That's a completely different discussion I'm not going to hop into because I've ranted enough today. So let's talk about something fun, Yoko.
Let's see. What fun could there be in the internet today?
We still had that conversation about memes, and we started out talking about earlier stuff. And I know we used to have meme episodes where we talk about our favorite memes as a segment. But I'm sort of curious, Yoko, what is... If you could pick, sort of 3 internet phenomena that have happened recently, which would be your favorite?
Okay. This one thing would be, I know people are going to hate me right now, but I will say I do like it. The Gangnam Style thing. I really like the Gangnam Style. I actually generally like that song. Well, there's this version of Psy with this Korean singer Hyuna.
Yeah.
That version I really love. And that's the version that nobody actually has seen.
I think I actually have, because I know who you're talking about.
And,
I'm not as up to date on K-pop. I'm more of a J-pop kind of guy, but
but yeah, that's the version I really like, and especially Hyuna is a good piece of cake.
I don't know. I never really was.
I have this
Asian women
fetish,
on a whole usually aren't too attractive to me. I'm not saying they're ugly. I'm just saying I generally like my women a little bit thicker, and most Asian women are fairly petite.
According, if you're Asian, don't go with Aggro. I'm over here.
I'm saying I'm already taken. Like, I'm in a relationship. If I was single, I don't know. I like women of all races and colors. It's just usually Asian women aren't as attractive to me, but they're not attractive for me. I'm not saying you're ugly. I'm just saying as personal taste goes.
Okay, like, now you can definitely unfollow him.
I'm not saying you're ugly. You're probably beautiful. Go for it. Thank you, Asian listeners.
Oh, don't worry. I'll make it sure that you say that they were ugly. I'll find a way.
Oh. Yeah, J-pop. Thumbs up for Yunin. I'm more of a J-rock guy, though, but if I had to pick between K and J-pop, I'd probably go J-pop. But that's just because, I don't know, I like Japan more than Korea. As cool as South Korea is. I actually had my step family was South Korean for a while.
For a while?
Well, my mom married a Korean guy, and then they got divorced, so they're not really my step family anymore. But I do really like a lot of Korean food, though. Not as much of it as I like Japanese food, but there is a lot of really good Korean food, especially bulgogi. I love bulgogi. Oh, it's so good. And a lot of their soups are really good, too. So Korea has lots of awesome stuff. I just like a lot more Japanese things.
Yeah, and some of the best directors are actually Korean. Well, in my taste, best directors are Korean.
Okay.
Yeah,
like
Chang-wook Park to the max.
I don't know. I like a lot of... I don't know their names, but I like a lot of Japanese horror films as far as names and directors. So I don't really know who directs them necessarily, but I like the pacing of Japanese horror. So I'd probably have to side on Japan for now. But then again, I don't think I've seen too many Korean films. I think the one of the few I've seen is I'm a Cyborg and That's Okay. That's Korean, right?
Yeah, actually by Chang-wook Park.
Yeah, that movie's actually really good. I like that. And I think there was another movie by him I saw that I liked.
Oldboy, have you seen Oldboy?
Yeah, I love Oldboy. So
yeah, that's my favorite movie.
Oldboy's really good too. I absolutely love Oldboy. So I'm not by any means saying Korea doesn't do anything right. I'm just saying on a whole, there's more things about Japan that I like. Like, not that their stuff isn't good. There's just more things that Japan has that I like. So,
do you like vampires?
If they're done a certain way, I think that a lot of the time vampires are done wrong. It's not fair for me to say I don't like vampires. I just don't like a lot of modern vampires.
Okay, well, I have a little movie for you. Actually by the same director from I'm a Cyborg, but That's Okay, and Oldboy. He made this movie called Thirst.
I think I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it.
It's a really good vampire film.
Okay, I'll have to check that out.
And I like how, because it explores both things.
Yeah.
Of if someone turns into a vampire, someone who thinks that it might be a curse, and someone who thinks it's the best thing ever.
Okay.
And the way it resolves to the end, it's really good.
Cool.
I gotta say, let's say if you haven't had any physical, sensual activity in a while, that movie might make you uncomfortable because there is a lot of sexiness to it.
Okay.
The thing is that it's the awkward type of sexiness.
That's not a problem for me. So.
Sorry.
Things aren't awkward for me though. That's what I'm talking about. Just things aren't awkward.
So let's say if you've been blue marbled a couple of times, that will kind of make
marbled. That's not a way I've heard it said before, but I know what you mean. All right. I don't even know where to go from this conversation anymore. I thought we were going somewhere, and then it just turned into, favorite internet things. So you started off talking about, Gangnam Style. Yeah. And so aside from Gangnam Style, what are two other of your favorite recent internet phenomena?
Favorite recent internet phenomena? Well, really not favorite thing. Like, I try not to follow a lot of those phenomena. And sometimes
you're an internet hipster.
Not that I'm an internet hipster. I just try to go with reviews, or like video game playthroughs or stuff like that. And trying to keep him busy. I just all these things just sometimes pass over my head. But I will say, like, what was that fairly recent thing that happened? The shake, the Harlem Shake.
Yeah. Do the Harlem Shake.
Yeah.
I always wanted to be my favorite. Okay, my favorite Harlem Shake video is the one of the swimming team where they're underwater and there's just that guy in a sleeping bag underwater, just like doing this. And it just looks like this like folding caterpillaring sleeping bag underwater in a pool. That's my favorite one. So, what's your favorite Harlem Shake video?
The Freddie Wong version. Have you seen that one?
I think so, yeah.
Well, for all of you who have not seen it, it's basically you see this guy in an office and with a helmet and all that, starting to just dancing around, and then out of nowhere, right when the music stops to become crazy, Freddie Wong just comes in bursting and punched this dude in the face. We are not doing that here, okay? That was my favorite one. The thing is that once I heard about that movement, that phenomena, I knew it was going to be done as quick as it came.
Yeah.
And
it's just everybody rushing to make the video and then it's done and nobody touches it again.
I mean, car commercials were done with that. Like real car commercials. Like,
it's ridiculous.
Oh yeah, it's
and that's what I was talking about with the internet. Things show up and then they're just gone. Like they explode, but they literally explode because once an explosion's gone, it's gone. It doesn't keep exploding for 8 years, unless you're Chernobyl, I guess. But
yeah, pretty much the same, right?
But yeah. So you get one more favorite internet phenomena.
I'm a lot of the fan of things that out of nowhere turned out missing. Like one of the things I kind of investigated in a way would be the Boxy thing.
Oh, Boxy.
Yeah. I thought it was. And there's this really cool video by Know Your Meme. It's the channel, and they explore the Boxy phenomena, and it's really cool. Just the way they detail on, well, who this person was, the outcry from the internet, and how she just completely disappeared after one video.
Yeah.
And I think she reappeared years after, but I'm not really sure. But yeah, it became this whole thing of, where is Boxy? And I thought that was a pretty cool thing.
Where is Rachel? Where is Boxy?
How
Where's
about yours?
4chan hiding her?
How about yours, Brett? Because I don't think I know yours.
All right, if I had to pick 3, I'm not a huge, I'm not part of the big part of the Slender Man fandom, but I like what Slender Man has done. So for me, Slender Man is cool because he sort of reinterested the internet in horror. And I don't mean, gore or scary movies or ghosts. To me, it's much more actual horror, that sort of sense of the unknown and something mysterious and not really a dumb-looking monster, and sort of the whole, X-Chan, which is the paranormal part of 4chan, or, creepypasta, all that stuff. Slender Man
I love the creepypasta.
Yeah, I love creepypasta, and Slender Man has really sort of revitalized that, and I think brought back an interest in scary things. And as somebody who loves that, I'm appreciative of that. So I'm a fan of Slender Man for what he's done, not necessarily of Slender Man himself. So as a vehicle for bringing back horror, I'm going to go with Slender Man. And I want to throw SCP in there with too. Because I love SCP. Just that it's a really cool site. And you get to see really cool just creations that people come up with and these stories. And I just like how public it is because lots of really cool things have come out of it. And its fandom is growing into other little games and other forms of media. So I think SCP and Slender Man are both really cool.
Yeah, SCP, I've played one of the games, and I've seen a bit more videos of some of the other games. I really wanted to see read the posts, like different stories on SCP, because I've heard that they're really good.
They're really cool. I would definitely recommend that. I'll put out a link for it in the Twitch chat after this. I'll also put it in the Spreaker. I don't know if you guys are joining me there, but I'll leave it there. And I'm in both, so join if you're not on the Twitch. So go do that. So Eugen really likes the Drake and that type of dude memes, the sort of Drake memes,
And the grumpy cat.
Go into your mirror and say Drake's name 3 times, and I'll show up and cry with you about your last girlfriend. So sort of jokes.
That's what
and
it
then
was?
Grumpy Cat. I do really like Grumpy Cat, just because the face is so great,
Oh yeah, and the dancing fat kids, Eugene.
Other internet phenomena in particular that I am a big fan of. I just want to say Rage Comics on a whole. Is that fair?
Rage Comics as a whole?
Yeah, just the whole idea of a Rage comic. The all the different meme faces, or I don't know. It's hard.
What do you mean exactly for Rage Comics?
The comics that involve all the Rage faces. The Forever Alone, or the Foo face, or all those things that people just make little comics out of them. I do really like that.
Like the troll face.
Yeah, I like the culture that surrounds it, and I like the comics themselves, and I think it's just a cool part of the internet. So I really like Rage Comics. And then as far as other specific internet phenomena, Rick Astley. I like Rick Rolling. Rick Rolling's awesome.
Well, I hate Rick Rolling, but
I'm going to bring it back. I'm going to bring it back because it's been gone for a while, so now people won't expect it anymore. So I'll be like, hey, dude, check out this video. And just Rick roll them. So
I hate the Rick Rolling thing, but I do love the song, though. I just love dancing that white boy dance. It's just it's so 80s.
I actually know the entire lyrics to that song.
Well, it has really little lyrics.
Strangers to love. You know the rules.
And
so do I.
So do I.
Yeah, so we're gonna We're going to move on from Rick Astley as much
You
as I
never
love him.
move on from Rick Astley.
I
man.
couldn't move on. I'm pretty sure we're coming towards the end of the show, though. What's the time, Wingman? How long do I got? Wrap it up.
Oh, all right.
All right, sweet. I looked at the time. I'm like, oh, we're a minute over
1, 2,
10,
3,
so we're
yeah.
probably almost done. So thank you for joining us on the Mouthwash. We've had a fun show today talking about the internet and politics and cool stuff about, internet neutrality and sort of the purpose and motivations behind it. And I think it's been really fun. Thanks if you joined us in the chat. I know there weren't a lot of you in the chat today, but if you're listening or you're catching this show post live version on YouTube or in the Twitch archives, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Show up again on Monday for the Mouthwash. We will be back same time, same place, possibly different format. We're talking about doing stuff a little bit different. Ooh, but we'll talk about that on Monday. So go check us out. As always, please tune in for our other shows. We have the Boom Boom Room over the weekend. That's on Saturday night. And we also have shows on Sunday. We're actually doing the first version of the D&D show this Sunday. So go check that out. That's going to be from noon to about 4 or 5, I think. Oh. So we're going to go do that. That's going to be a lot of fun. You can watch us play D&D live. It's going to be really fun.
Full of you D&D lovers.
Yeah, so go check that out if you're a tabletop fan. As always, please download the apps Twitch, Spreaker, and Tunein. You can find us by searching for Geekstreetsociety. I'm going to post more links in the Twitch chat, but also follow us on Twitter at GeekstreetGSS. You can follow me on Twitter at AggroGSS. You can follow the Gnome at the Gnomish one. And also search for us and join us on Facebook. And please share those links with your friends if you enjoyed it. Okay, and if you missed any of the show, feel free to go back to the YouTube page, which there is a link below the Twitch feed, and you can find recorded versions of that, and you can just search for Geek Street Society and find us, and also the Twitch has archived versions of the episodes, so please watch that. Thank you for joining. This is the Mouthwash. Your mouth is officially clean, so you can swish and spit. We will be back on Monday with more nerdy topics and geeky goodness, and Fasa will probably be better, so we'll have more hosts.
So many nerdy and geeky
It's true.
stuff.
So thanks for joining us. I want to thank Yoko for joining me. I am Aggro.
It's been a pleasure.
That's
and
Yoko.
I'm Yoko.
And thanks for joining us. Yes, yes, yes.
KGSS.
Mouthwash.
Mouthwash.
Place your foot on the controller, pick yourself up, brush the dust off your shoulder. You haven't done anything for the last 2 days, dog. You're gonna go outside today, no. I'm just gonna do my thing, even if it means that I do nothing, yo. I hold up my controller and I'ma play my game till I get game.
See, back in the day, my gameplay was mean. Used to put the duck hunt gun straight up to the screen, cause I was sick and tired of seeing that stupid dog bark. Used to yell at Zelda every time that it all starts. I would play Punch Out straight through the mic fight. Build